Good day, everybody. This is Yin Yang in California with Morsels of a Thought number 1606B. Now, the reason it's B is actually because it's another one. It's an additional one to the 1606th one that I did 12 hours early last night, thinking it was 6:10 a.m. It was actually 6:10 p.m. yesterday, the 25th, and today is the 26th, and this is 1606 Part B, because I've read pages 66 to 69, which was chapter 4, Part 1. Now we're going to go into chapter 4, Part 2 on page 70 in Launch. How to Take Your Business to New Heights by Jen du Plessis, America's Mortgage Mentor. And there's a foreword by Michael J. Mayer, The 7 Levels of Communication. This is a wonderful book. Joan Coulahan, CFDS, says, I wish I had read this book 20 years ago. Unfortunately, it was only published 7 years ago, so she could not have read it. But this is a wonderful book. Chapter 4.2, The Buying Window. We're reading this because morsels of a thought are hopefully to give you some thoughts of wisdom of the right things to do with borrowed wisdom from other people who have lived other lives that give you experiences that you have to, well, you can jump in on their experience. The buying window. The big idea is keep in touch with clients over the long term so you can stay top of mind when they enter the buying window. Bird Baguette, B-Y-R-D, B-A-G-G-E-T-T, says, know where your sales increases will come from. They won't just happen. So Lady Jen says, and I put Lady Jen in the front so that you can see it's a, well, you can tell it's page 70 and the previous one says page 65. You'll be able to find this on YouTube and in Facebook, on Facebook in yin yang dot, oh boy, yin dot yang dot something. And then housecat tracks. So when you do facebook.com, you do /housecat.tracks. Now that one's easier to find. YouTube, you go to youtube.com/yingorange99. I don't know if I can change my URL, but I will if I can. Let me ask you a quick question, says Jen du Plessis. How many of you have contacted a client or friend only to find out they just bought a new home or refinanced their current loan and you didn't even know they were in the market to make a move? What happened? Well, somehow you missed their buying window. The buying window is the time frame during which someone's desire to purchase a new or different home meets with their perfect timing to begin taking action. You must ensure they think of you when they're in their buying window. This is important for generating repeat business from clients for the annuity income of your practice. Your challenge will always be how to keep yourself top of mind so that clients reach out to you when they first enter the buying window. Of course, that's easier said than done. You don't know exactly when they're going to enter the buying window phase. To give you the best chance of catching them in their buying window, move beyond the basics when you call a client. Use the opportunity to assess whether they're entering the buying window. Ask questions. Whenever you make a call to a past client, it's important to dig deeper than the standard scripts we discussed in the last few chapters, such as, Hi, it's Jen. I'm just checking in on you. That may not be extensive enough. You may want to ask them things resembling, Do you still like the house? Any new family members? Or similar open-ended questions. You want to determine through intelligent questioning and active listening for clues as to whether they're getting close to another buying window or perhaps a refinancing window. Of course, buying windows are frequently revealed during interest rate drops and when conduction annual mortgage reviews. These suggested scripts are in addition, so you don't miss one single opportunity. The only way to ensure success in this is to be in front of clients as frequently as possible via email, phone calls, visiting with them one on one, doing their annual mortgage review, whatever the reason to stay top of mind. Please recognize that sometimes your efforts may not be enough. When they do get into the buying window and they haven't talked to you for several months or since the last time you did an annual review, someone else may get the loan. It is just how it works. When you think about all the loans you've done over your career compared to the number of people who have called you out of the blue zone some years later, the numbers don't compare. I had a client who I had worked with 10 years ago call me out of the blue for a new loan. I had been in touch with her all that time, but I didn't know she was looking to buy, and worse, I'll admit, I didn't know she had gotten married. That created a buying window. Luckily, she loved me enough that she called. But boy, I can count on one hand when those situations have happened. It's different when you know there's a buying window. Keep in touch with your clients as frequently as possible. And when you are in touch, make sure that you're asking the right questions to dig a little deeper and chat about life events that are happening. Their answers will give you clues that a buying window may be opening up. Jen's Jots. Keep in touch with clients as frequently as possible, and when you are in touch, ask questions that dig deeper into their life events. Next, asking the right questions may reveal they are entering a buying window, and you'll be in a position to generate repeat business and help your client again. So now, in morsels of a thought of wisdom, we are reading currently. We're, excuse me, we are trying to give you morsels of a thought of wisdom. Knowing the right things to do in life is called wisdom, and knowing the pitfalls to avoid is also called wisdom. And then doing the things that you're supposed to do and avoiding the pitfalls you're supposed to avoid is called virtue. Now, I am trying to entertain you a little every morning. I am trying to, in my time, it's in every morning, but I wish you have a good day. And everywhere you are, Finland, China, America, California, and California is part of America still yet. Yes, yes, yes. um, California would have a GDP of a second largest GDP in the States or something like that is what I've heard. I've heard. Now, I'm no expert. I'm sincerely no expert, so don't quote me on that. But California is a significant economic part of the United States of America. Anyway, so we are reading Jen Duplessis book, Launch How to Bring Your Business to New Heights. Action Mindset, Chapter 4, Part 3. The big idea is always follow the three-part strategy of the trifecta of success. T and S are capitalized to determine exactly which activities you should be doing. The three-part strategy of the trifecta of success. An anonymous person says, what keeps you extraordinary versus ultra extraordinary? Jen Duplessis says, one way that you can zero in on core action to drive your business is to use something I call the trifecta of success. I also refer to it as the Trinity of Triumph, capital T, T, because I'm Catholic. So I always use references related to my faith. I've also heard this referred to as the hedgehog method. No capital there. The first part of this three-pronged strategy is to only take action on or do things that you are absolutely excellent at doing. So, if you aren't good on the phone because that makes you feel uncomfortable and you're better at talking to someone in person, then Only do activities that you can do in person, such as networking, speaking to groups, having small workshops or book clubs. If you're better at speaking on the phone and don't like networking events, then hire someone to be your business development officer who goes to those events on your behalf. I've seen that work very well with a chiropractor, so I don't want you to be afraid of doing something like that for mortgage lending. A chiropractor in my BNI group had a business development officer who came in and talked about the chiropractor. You want to act as if you're the doctor in a medical practice. You don't want to be the receptionist and the nurse and the doctor and the billing and collections people all rolled into one. You want to be the expert. Don't be afraid to do certain things that you are trying to master. Just set it up so that it works for you in your market. Again, you want to do those things that you are absolutely excellent at doing. Now, she is doing things that transpose onto other industries. So, when we are talking about how to bring your business to new heights, how to take your business to new heights, I should have said, how to take your business to new heights, launch, uh, we are talking about methods and time management and strategies. So the lady says, again, you want to do those things that you're absolutely excellent at doing. If you aren't good at it, hire someone else who is. And hire someone else whose strength is your weakness. Don't hire someone else who isn't good at it either. That is not going to get you anywhere. Second, only do what you absolutely love to do. If you don't like networking, don't do it. If you don't like reviewing tax returns, by all means, stop doing it. Third, do only do what makes money sense. Does spending $500 a month to co brand yourself with a real estate agent on Zillow make money sense for your practice? Does sponsoring a broker open that costs you $100 for food plus 100 or 150 for a gift certificate prize that's used by a real estate agent who you'll never see again and most likely won't want to meet you later make money sense for your practice? Of course, I'm discussing things that don't make many sense for my practice. You have to make that decision for your practice. There are so many shiny objects that we see. We hear what other people are doing all the time and we want to jump on the bandwagon, but many things just really might not make money sense for you. I'll give you a good example. I partner with a real estate agent who I really like. She's fairly new in the business and she is in and out with giving me referrals. She is not one of my strategic partners, but she's someone I like. She called me out of the blue and asked me if I could join her on a conference call where someone was going to try to sell us for $799 a month an internet lead site. For me, that's not even close to the type of business I want to do. It was a very easy decision to say no. I'm not interested in spending money for internet generated leads. I'm not good at working with rate shopper phone calls, and you know what? I don't like doing it either. I don't want to be a commodity. Now, if your practice does lead generating from the internet, then absolutely do it as long as it meets the criteria of the trifecta of success. Let me get back to the three components of the trifecta, capital T. Only do what you are really, really good at. Only do what you really, really love to do. And only do what makes money sense. Note that I didn't say what makes money, but what makes money sense. There's a real key difference here. I strongly encourage you that if there's something that makes money sense and it's something you really love to do and you're just not quite good enough at it, then improve your skills. If two of the points on this triangle are strong and the third area can make sense for you down the road if you do a few things differently or tweak a few things, then by all means pursue it. But keep track of the results and give yourself a deadline where you'll stop doing the activity if it's not coming together. If two or three of these points, if two or all three of these points on the triangle aren't working for you, say no. I'm going to give you a good example, and this is the example I give to everybody. I'm excellent at analyzing tax returns. I'm really good because I was an underwriter and it's one of my strengths. People bring in piles of tax returns and ask me to analyze them. The thing is, I don't like doing it anymore. I used to, but not these days. Oh, and by the way, it does not make money sense for me to be sitting and reviewing tax returns for 20 or 30 minutes when I could be making another 5 phone calls, or I could be having a quick coffee with one of my strategic partners. So for me, when considering whether I should review tax returns, only one of the 3 points works for me. So, and by the way, I am really good at reviewing tax returns, but I do not like to do it, and it does not make money sense for me. Does that make sense? So here we are going through morsels of a thought, hopefully of wisdom for you to have a great day. I want to inspire you. I want to educate you a little as we read along. I want to entertain you, and we impart things to each other and to others. So, we are in Launch, How to Take Your Business to New Heights by Lady Jen du Plessis. She says, therefore, I don't review tax returns anymore. Instead, my production partner reviews them because she loves doing it. She is excellent at it, and it makes money sense for my practice to have her do the review rather than me. So every time someone asks you to do something, whether it's can you meet me for coffee? Will you go with me to a networking event? Can you take a look at this file? Or will you sponsor this open house or this event? Please stop and ask yourself these 3 questions. That is the essence of taking smart action. Jen's jots, there are 4 here. To make the highest and best use of your time, always ask yourself, is this something I'm really, really good at? Is this something I really, really love to do? Does it make money sense for me to do this? That's that was chapter 4, section 2. Now, I'm sorry, section 3. Now we are on page 75. We are let go to climb higher in chapter 4, section 4. I should say part 4. Chapter 4, part 4. The big idea, she says, the growth of your practice and income begins when you let go of things you do now that don't directly contribute to business growth. An anonymous person said, you can do more with what you already have than what you are currently doing. Yeah. Can you devote more time and energy to being a finder while still doing everything you do now? In other words, can you prospect more, find more business, and double or even triple your income if you hold on to all the other daily activities involved in your practice? You and I can agree that will most certainly not happen. We've all heard about climbing the ladder of success. What I want to share with you is an analogy about the ladder of success that I think will really help you in thinking about being a stronger finder, capital F, italicized. While coaching, I've had several conversations with loan officers who really resist changing the way they do business. What they say is they want to do more business, but they aren't willing to let go of certain things they're doing now. I know that if you don't have an assistant or you don't feel totally comfortable moving a large share of the processing responsibilities to your assistant, this may be an area you struggle with. You don't want to let go of the fact that you've handled everything and that you feel you can or should continue to handle everything. Do you often think they want me, they don't want my assistant? Or maybe you're what I call a helicopter loan officer. You hover over everybody during the loan process because you're so fearful that the loan isn't going to go right unless you're intimately involved in every step. So you covet and hold on to the file. The bad news is this behavior is preventing you from reaching higher and higher levels of business and income. At some point, you have to give up some of the things that made you successful and pass them along to someone else to handle for you. Do you think Microsoft would be the mega company it is today if Bill Gates never gave up doing the things he did when he started the company? He started Microsoft in his garage with a card table for a desk. He did everything. He went out and got the business. He managed the business. He was grinding out work and doing research, doing the books, writing the programs. He did everything. Can you imagine if he never let go of doing all of that and decided that he was the only one who could do all those things and that the only way for him to grow was to work harder and put in longer hours? But he did let go of doing the things that he wasn't good at, and he let other people do those things. Now, climbing the ladder of success. So it's the same thing with you. Picture a ladder. The two vertical parts of a ladder are called rails and the horizontal steps are called rungs. Let's imagine that each rung on the ladder represents $500,000 a month in closings. In order to go to the next rung on a ladder, you have to let go of the previous rung. That's how you climb up. If you're doing $500,000 a month in production and you want to get to $1 million worth, you're going to have to let go of something that you're doing at the $500,000 level so you can get to the $1 million level. So think about where you are on the ladder of success and then think about how you are going to get to the next level. To climb up the ladder, you must find more business. You either have to devote more time to developing new business, work on developing new and more promising partnerships, or both. To accomplish a higher level of finding, you will have to give up something else that you're doing on a lower rung. Hello, good morning. I see somebody. I see somebody. I can't see who, but I see somebody. Should you let go of gathering documentation and let someone else do that? Should you let go of managing the entire file yourself? Maybe you should let go of some partners who have fallen off and develop partnerships with new referral partners. Maybe you are working with real estate agents who were new to the business 4 years ago and are still low producing agents who you're holding on to. Do you think you need to let go of partners that you're clinging to but aren't coming through for you? The people who got you to your current success may not be the people who will get you to your next level. Maybe you're not delegating enough to allow yourself to get to the next level. Maybe you're not making enough phone calls and you need to get past the fear of making phone calls or the fear of making sales calls or the fear of calling a real estate agent or a referral partner and asking to meet for coffee so you can determine if they're a good quality fit for you. Maybe you need to let go of doing a certain type of product. This is not to criticize anyone who's doing a certain type of product, but if you're soliciting USDA loans, then that's the kind of loan you're going to get. They typically are lower loan amounts, they are more complex, and as a result, that might be holding you back from getting more business and other types of loans. Think about what you're projecting to the world as your niche and what you can let go of. Maybe you need to let go of doing less lucrative loans and pass those on to someone else in your office who is lower on the rung and needs more business. This will free up this will free you up to do more lucrative loans to continue your climb on the ladder of success. Think about it. What can you let go to do what can you let go to go higher? What can you let go of to be able to do more business? How can you move to the next level? And we'll finish this up next week. And it'll really be next week. It won't be 12 hours away from now, unless I fall asleep again. So we got two parts of Launch How to Take Your Business to New Heights today by Jen du Plessis. Jean du Plessis, I think is how it would be pronounced in French, but I'm not sure because I'm not an expert in French at all. Okay, so I will see you later. Talk to you then. Okay, old Kinder Hug.